Yeah. Back again. It was all a dream podcast with another smoking episode for y'all. Happy New Year to all of our viewers. We love y'all. Thank y'all for the support. We got a special invited guest today. I'm gonna let him introduce himself because he does a great job at just doing what he does. You feel me?
What's good, people? It's your boy Cdiddy, one half of the realest podcast ever, head of TRPE Media, Philadelphia's own. Appreciate y'all having me today, man. Straight up.
Appreciate you being here.
I am the Dutchie man. This is my man Bars. This is my brother DJ Blackout. And this is my guy Siege. And we are It Was All a Dream podcast. And let's get this bitch to rolling.
Let's get it.
Yeah, let's get it. I mean, normally we talk about hip hop, the culture, things of that nature. We're gonna go a little bit to the side because we want to understand the business that you created, with your company. And for me, I always like to start from the beginning. Like 2017, you and your partners, y'all thinking about this podcast thing.
Right.
Just tell us how it all came about.
It really started in 2016, to be honest. And it kind of just started from a group chat or whatever. So like I got a lot of different friends that come from all different walks of life. So I got super street friends. I got, friends that's high net worth attorneys and doctors and stuff like that. And then, I got my other friends that we kind of all was in the same position of literally kind of like trying to figure life out a little bit. Like I'm throwing parties. My one homie, my man Matt, who ended up being my co-host and my partner, he was working for SEPTA at the time. And I had my man Ra, DJ R to the Izzy, who was doing parties, working at Rock Nation in the marketing department or whatever. So me and those two guys had this group chat, and we would talk about a bunch of different stuff, sports, media, entertainment news, stuff like that. And from that, all through 2016, probably we get to about June or July, I'm like, yo, we should start a podcast. And they like, what the fuck is a podcast? So that's kind of where it started. Like, what the fuck is a podcast? So I'm explaining. I'm like, yo, I've been really like listening to like a lot of this alternative media, and the main ones I was listening to was Combat Jack Show with Reggie Osei, the Cypher Sounds and Peter Rosenberg, Juan Epstein, and then Taxstone. And then when Taxstone show came about, that's what really let me know, like, nah, we could do this shit. Because I looked at the similarities. And at the time, Black Twitter was kind of like at its height or whatever like that. And I was like a Black Twitter celebrity. I'm interacting with all of these guys that ended up, becoming somebody. Relly on Smash, officially Ice, that's what the Joe Budden podcast, Taxstone, all of these different people. And I'm like looking at all of the similarities. And it's like, Tax would get on there and talk about, the music landscape in his city and stuff like that. I was doing the same thing. He would, had these crazy tweets that would go viral. I was doing the same thing. And I'm like, yo, he used that to build a platform in the form of a podcast. And his show actually fell under Loudspeakers Network, which was the same ones that produced Brilliant Idiots originally, produced Combat Jack Show, and all of the relevant like cultural shows that were getting produced at the time was all under Loudspeakers, which is based out of New York. So from that, I was like, yo, we need to start this podcast or whatever. So I basically set on this journey of how do we start this podcast? In Philly, we the home of the spitters. There's music studios any and everywhere. You find a music studio like it ain't nothing. You jump on the gram, you jump on Twitter. Who got a studio? Oh, we got a studio. Like you get 50 studios. It wasn't really no podcast studios at the time. So I had to do some like deep digging or whatever to find one. And a close friend of mine, my homegirl, Nikki Purvey, that went to high school with me. She was starting to do a business podcast, and it was with somebody up in the like in the far northeast, like Feasterville, Trevose area, and he had a studio or whatever. The guy name was Justin Emery. He had a company called New Media Studios. So we go up there, basically met him. It was kind of like we interviewed him, he interviewed us. We told him the thought process for the show, how we want to do it. And we came to a conclusion. All right, it's the end of the year. We're going to start fresh in January. So we get the show. We do it. We do our first episode. It was called Fuck 2016. Our first show had like 17,000 listeners. Wow. And from that, I'm like, it's no way. I'm like, it's no way. I'm like, I don't have 17,000 social media followers. Like, how does 17,000 people find this show? And he like, yo, we have, your initial listenership or whatever, because you're on the RSS feed for the network, everybody shares and listens. So a lot of people that wasn't necessarily here for y'all gave y'all a listen. And then aside from that, he had what was called a rebroadcast that he did on his website that coincided with like drive time in like Europe.
Oh, wow.
So we started from also off the rip from our first episode. We picked up all of these listeners international because of that. Wow. And kind of like fast forward by the end of the first year, we had already been broadcasting like 55 countries or something like that because of his setup and that rebroadcast of our episodes. So it's like we would drop shows on Monday, the rebroadcast was on Wednesday. So by the time a week passes, we had all of these listeners or whatever. So we had the advantage of having somebody that was kind of like a vet in podcasting that understood the business and kind of stewarded us along. And on our third episode, we went viral. We did an episode called Migos for President, and it went viral. The episode probably got like 4 million audio downloads from then to now. And that was kind of like what carried our catalog forward, where, you know, we onboarded a lot of people in terms of like listenership and stuff, like very, very early on. And we just constantly, you know, just stayed consistent, releasing episodes. And we ended up, by the end of that first year, which was 2017, we got picked up to do the Roots Picnic for 2018. Nice. So we was the first podcast that ever performed on the Roots Picnic. So 2018 Roots Picnic, the last one at Festival Pier. We were on that stage. We would have like a super early slot, like 2:00 or whatever. We performing, you know, for a small amount of people, but it ended up being like 400 or 500 people, and we just didn't know what we was going to talk about. We got out there, did our set, everybody clapped, stood them up or whatever like that, and then from there it was just kind of like that's where we got our ethic to figuring out like, yeah, we need to do live shows and stuff like that. So it was like all of this stuff that we kind of fell forward into, of knowing the right people, having the right business structure and all of that, and then me doing a lot of research carried us forward to where we are now.
So you're just to spin back on that, your relationship equity is what got you basically to where you guys are now. In the business of podcasting, how with those relationships, right?
Yeah.
How easy is it to use the relationship and make it work at the same time? Because I know a lot of people won't share the information. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So how did y'all gauge that? Like with the friends that you had, did you know who you wanted to call, or did you just call them by default and say, okay, damn, I want to do this? Like, or y'all knew that from that first 17,000 downloads that you had? Like, did y'all second guess? This is what I'm saying. Like
they completely second. I knew that I was doing this one way or another. Because I just believed in the medium, and I'm like, yo, this is an opportunity to get in on something on the ground level. Historically, black people always late with shit. Like, we usually miss the boat with stuff or whatever like that. Whereas, like, because we have a barrier to entry on information. So with me having this information and already seeing where the shit was going, and all of these different people that's got similar profiles to me starting to do this, there's no reason not to. So I was doing it one way or another. I had to convince my homies that I wanted to do this. So out of the two that I initially approached to do the show, one, my man Rob was just basically like, nah, like I can't do it. You know, he was on a different trajectory. He was focused on becoming like a professional handicapper, sports bettor or whatever like that, which he is now. And he actually, to make it come full circle, he ended up having a position with the Action Network. And then now he's with The Ringer with Bill Simmons doing his own show, the Rostradamus show, that drops every Tuesday on The Ringer.
Once again, from relationships.
So I knew early on that he had the talent to do this. He just was on a different thing, but I'm just like, nah, you got the magic that it takes to do this, this audio medium, this video medium. I know that you got the skill, but he didn't have the interest at the time. But you're going to end up where you're supposed to be regardless. And he still ended up doing podcasts and doing media just in a different way. Like, it's just more singular and more focused on sports than wider entertainment news, and kind of having like a variety show. Exactly.
So when did you guys inquire the audio into the visual part? Because I know y'all do it.
Let me expound on your question, because I was going to ask the same thing. You said 4 million audio downloads. So How many, like when y'all first started, it was
Yeah,
all audio? Okay.
That was intentional. Our first 15 episodes, we intentionally said we're not doing no video.
Okay.
Because we want to capture as much audience as we can with this to see where we are, to have an honest shake on like who's listening.
Okay.
And then from there, before we start to cannibalize the audience and push them to video, we basically say, all right, let's trap everybody here on audio, see who's here, and then we'll start doing video later.
So do you think the audio is more impactful than the actual
It
video?
was at the time. That flipped though.
Okay.
Now the video was more impactful.
Okay.
So now if I start a brand new show tomorrow, like I got 3 ideas for new shows I want to start, I'm gonna do video first, build up the catalog, and then go back and say, by the way, all of these episodes are on audio now. Go subscribe to my RSS feed after 10 episodes.
Okay. Makes sense.
You took that shit and 10x'd it.
Yeah, because you wanna trap the audience into like one thing. Like, and I kind of learned that from looking at like the music business and stuff like that. Like you have artists that are huge artists that will only release a song just on YouTube or just on Apple Music or just on Spotify or whatever, because I want to get an idea of, I'm saying this is out, this is where it's at, go here. This is the result of me doing that.
So you funneling.
You funneling, exactly. So then once I funnel and then I maximize whatever's in that funnel, now I can say, all right, cool, after a week or 2 weeks or whatever, or in this case, is this example, 10 episodes, now go everywhere else or whatever, where where I'm aggregating as opposed to funneling.
So question. So for a guy who don't have all those relationships that you had, like the Rock Nation relationships, all your friends that have the those great positions.
Yeah.
How would they go about starting a podcast?
This is the same discipline. You just maximize your personal network. You look at who's around you. Everybody got anywhere between 2 to 10 friends. You look around at who's around you, who's got the personality, who got a unique POV, who is technically inclined, and you put people in the positions that's going to best suit them in order to do what you're trying to do. So out of 10 friends, you might have 4 or 5 that fit the overall goal of what you're trying to do. Right. And if you're the orchestrator, or in that case, basically like you're executive producer. And then that's another thing. A lot of people don't realize that these roles that they're assuming are of greater value. They just think, oh, I'm just putting people in position. Like, no, you're an executive producer. You're a creative strategist. You're a associate producer. You're a showrunner, essentially. If you're writing whatever the rundown is for your podcast every week, you a showrunner. You a writer. You know what I'm saying? And those skills are transferable to be able to do other stuff later that people don't really realize, because they think, oh, I'm just cutting the mics on and talking shit with my homies. But in reality, you're training yourself for a greater position that later on down the line.
That has always been my issue with watching people start podcasts. Myself, right? For instance, I have started podcasts just trying to do from doing radio, right? I used to be on Heat 100 with Simply Monica. She was one of the first people to break out with the having their own show on a network that nobody is familiar with, but she's getting the listeners.
Right.
And we did straight audio, no video, just straight audio. So it was actually like being on a radio station. And from that, I saw where the game was going, because once you get into just the journalism side of it, you see, okay, this shit is about to take off and go in a direction where people are going to be making the money that they're making now. And what upset me is that I should have stayed on it, because I didn't know that you could do the Howard Stern thing and go audio and make a lot of money. I wasn't familiar with the Joe Rogans and the people like that who were audio people first. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it kills me, because I see a lot of people, just everybody's running around trying to start podcasts. And I'm not saying doing what you like to do is wrong. I'm just saying to oversaturate something that can be pure is a fucked up thing to do to a new culture that we have as black journalists.
And I agree with you, because I agree with you primarily because I'm so passionate about this shit. I'm on a 20-year arc in media. I'm 7 years in on a 20-year arc. So my transition is podcaster, executive producer, creative strategist, to Charlemagne the God, to Ed Bradley. That's what I'm trying to do with this shit. Like, and I'm working with the end in mind. And it's like, how do I become Charlemagne the God? I got to start my podcast network. I got to empower other shows and give them the knowledge and the strategy and all of that I got. And then how do I become Ed Bradley? I take all of that, I sell it, and then now I go and I get 10 million or whatever a year to go do 60 minutes or whatever, or some elevated platform where I'm talking to the movers and shakers that make not just culture but life go, where I'm talking to presidents and world leaders and all of that. Right. That's where I'm trying to be on the other side of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
So it shows that you had the idea. So you put the idea together.
Yes.
Now here comes the vision. And vision, a part of me is, like you said, putting those people in those positions to where they can excel. Was that you and your co-host that had the vision to say, okay, you know, this person's going to do this? Or was it kind of organically that people just kind of fell in their own spots?
It was kind of, it was my leadership first, and then the organicness of it, because once people see you doing something that's got any type of motion, they want to be a part of it. Right, so essentially, I looked at all my other friends that, you know, maybe not have the time or the discipline to do a weekly podcast with me, but in spots, I know that they magical when they get on the mic or get on in front of a camera. And I had the benefit of having talented ass friends that was all on an upward trajectory or had already established themselves or something. So like AO, Aaron Owens, street ball legend. That's one of my best friends.
Shout out to AO.
You know what I'm saying? So he was one of my first guests on the show. So I had him. I talked about the Black Twitter thing. My man Nerded the Cool Table from Delaware. He huge on Twitter. I had him on a podcast or whatever. And he had his own podcast, you know, Church for the Wild or whatever. So that made sense to collab and to work with him. So I put them on a show together where for 5 hours, all we talking about is social media and how it was in 2010 versus in 2017 and you know, who the chicks we want to fuck from. So like it was more crude and, you know, a little wilder back then. It was more like the Wild West. But that's like an episode that ended up going down in history for us because it was nothing else like that on the internet at the time. So we was taking calculated risk and just like trying stuff, and it ended up paying off. I had my man Clint Coley on the show, who now is on Revolt with us on Revolt Podcast Network. He actually has a is the one that set it up for us to even be on Revolt Podcast Network. You know what I'm saying? We did an episode with him early on. Then it came back. We did an episode with him in 2018. Then it came back around the end of 2022. He come do a show for us or whatever. He was on tour. He came home for the holidays or whatever. Was like, first thing he said when he seen me was, "I got to play for you." I'm like, "What you mean?" I got to play for you. He's like, "Ain't no guarantee it's going to go through, but I'm going to put you in contact with the person that you need to talk to in order to make it real. You smart. Y'all are super talented. Y'all video look good. Y'all audio is great. There's no reason for y'all to not be on the network. They need shows. I think y'all could benefit from the partnership. I'm going to make the introduction." And that's how it happened. Nice. You know what I'm saying? So luckily, all of my friends was doing shit. Like, and most of them became who the fuck they was supposed to be later on down the line. My man Spank Horton from the Plastic Cup Boys. He was another one. He was on like our...
Me and Spank grew up together.
Yeah, he was on like our 8th episode.
I want to touch
like
on something that you said, right? You said a word that a lot of people use, and they use it in the wrong context, right? Motion.
Yeah.
Motion is one of these tricky words that everybody using now because it's trending, right?
Yeah.
And I want to break down to the viewer. Motion and progress are two different things. This is motion. For those of you who don't know, this is motion. What I'm doing right now, where am I going? Nowhere.
Yeah.
But I got motion. But it's no progress.
Right.
So what this brother is sitting here telling y'all is, when you start in a podcast, just don't focus on the trend of the podcasting. Everybody comes to me and they say, "Oh, your homie's got $1 million worth of game. Why you ain't been on there? Why you don't go on there?" For one, it has to be a reasoning for me to go there.
Absolutely.
For two, never feel like your homies owe you anything.
Never count your homie pockets thinking you deserve it.
Because
you
shouldn't live a life of what can you bring to the table. You create your own table, and there becomes crazy dualities in life where some people's table legs become weak. So have a table for your homie to come to sometimes. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I don't rely on my friends for anything but moral support. I think that a lot of people get that misconstrued, having powerful friends. The owing something to you is a facade. No one owes you anything but the Lord of your understanding, and that's him to guide you in the way of following him. That's it. So I just wanted to tap into that because you said something. I was like, damn, that motion thing got a lot of these people motion sick. You feel what I'm saying?
Real tough.
And that's why when it comes down to what I'm doing over here and what my brothers is doing over here, we're not a podcast. We're journalists.
Right.
We gonna make sure that we just not sitting around talking about nothing.
You're talking about $200 dates and who should pay how
I
much
could pop
rent.
it. I mean, I really could pop it.
Yeah.
I don't do
that.
I don't do none of that, bro. You know why? I'm comfortable not being on the scene. Big Billy Goat shit.
Right.
I can really sit back and talk my shit. I done some things out this motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of things, man.
You talk about it all the time.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if a nigga ain't never walked on the Calamander floor, don't even talk to me about nothing. If you on your first passport, don't talk to me about nothing. I could pop it. I mean, I'm sitting right next to Lil Wayne in this video. I could pop it.
Yes, indeed.
What's that gonna do? How much banks don't take popping it? Go in the bank tomorrow. Say I'm gonna pop it and see how much you gonna get. Not another motherfucking nothing out that joint.
Yeah, what's your collateral? I can pop it.
Yeah, I can pop it. All right, cool. Go ahead. You keep doing that, gang.
Yeah, what intrinsic value does that really
one
have?
thing I want to say though is, in our culture, a lot of people. When you was talking about relationships, a lot of people in our culture be like, I don't want to meet no new niggas, man. I'm cool. Like that's crazy.
That's what they gonna say.
Crazy.
That's a losing proposition, man. You only as strong as your friends and your enemies. Nipsey Hussle said having powerful enemies is a blessing.
Right, exactly.
So aside from having powerful friends, you want to have powerful enemies also. Like you know what I mean? Because it's like at the end of the day, you're not if you got a powerful enemy, that means you powerful in your own rights.
Right.
A peon is not on somebody's powerful radar.
Right.
No. Exactly.
Nope.
So speaking of relationships, going back to your podcast, did those relationships help you with the guests as well? Because I know a lot of our viewers want to know how do you get these guests you have?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of it came down to the consistency part is super important.
Facts.
For the better part of 7 years, minus like 3 months that we took off because we had a little internal little friction or whatever we was working through.
Right.
And we ended up not doing no shows for like 3 months. This was like the summer of 2019. But in that 3 months, again, I'm planning. That's what I am. I'm a planner. I'm a thinker. I'm a strategist. So even though we wasn't doing no new content in that time period, I realized how important it was for us to have control. And the control part was I need to control my RSS feed. I need to see and know my data. I need to control my advertisement account so that when ads come in, I'm not splitting my ads 50-50 with the network because they're not serving no purpose or servicing us, the advertisers. Right. In reality, they're just using our numbers as the biggest show on here to help them out. So why should you get 50% of that bread? You shouldn't. So I took that control back. You know what I'm saying? I made YouTube a focus at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we had sporadic video here and there, and it's like the network offer video, then they take it back. Oh yeah, we doing video again, then they take it back. Oh, we recording video, we sending it to a dude in Paris, and I'm just like, yo, we in Philadelphia. Why are we sending the video to somebody in Paris? If you don't get one of these little Asian kids or somebody up there to come edit this video, so it was like stuff like that where it's like, yo, I just gotta have more control over this thing if it's gonna go the way that I need it to go and the way that I think it can go. I gotta have more control. So that was that part of it as far as like, is that. So bringing it back to the consistency part. So in staying consistent, it makes people notice you that you don't even think are paying attention. Right. I had NFL players reach out to me, bro, I be playing your shit in the locker room for the Cowboys and we be playing your shit in the locker room for the Falcons and da-da-da-da. Just because of something that they might have seen on social media or a girl that they liked and shared the podcast or whatever. And it's like just being on that digital real estate every week for the better part of 7 years gave us so much of an advantage against everybody else because I done seen them come, I done seen them go. I done seen people that inspired me jam themselves up and end up in jail, and then now it ain't no more podcasts. Yeah. Look at Taxstone's situation. You know what I'm saying? And he inspired me. I've never told this story without saying I was inspired by what Tax did. But he took himself off the board. Right. There been plenty of other people that then came that was a former rapper or a former this or whatever, that started a show, they do 62 episodes, it's gone. Where's the show at? Mm-hmm. They got way more influence. They got way more influence, way more of a bigger network than me. But it's like, yo, once niggas spin around and like, damn, I done interviewed all my friends. Now what?
Yeah, ain't got nothing else.
Ain't got nothing else. So it's like, unless you have something of value to offer, you're not going to attract those people outside of your network. So by the time we got to like 2021, and we kept like breaking these different barriers and having and compiling a resume, and that's something else I did. I aggregated everything that we did into like a 1-sheeter. And then it grew to a 2-sheeter. And then now it grew to a 3-sheeter. Okay. And I aggregated everything that we were doing so that when I'm talking to people and I'm soliciting them for a guest, I can send them something that substantiates everything that I'm saying. I threw my website up. I made YouTube a focus, and I went to YouTube University and I studied YouTube. Right. And I started to learn the metadata and how important the hashtags are and release time and passing the audio from the video and the video back to the audio and having them links in there so that people can see it. Having your page look a certain way so that when people come and look through it, and you might have a viral video. I got a video on my page right now with Mike Knox. It's a clip from our interview. It got 100,000 views. So now when people go to my page and they look at my bio, Revolt Podcast Network, Spotify, Apple, wherever y'all need to find me at, I can be found because all of my stuff is in alignment and it looks the part. It looks organized and it looks the part. And the Mike Knox interview even came about because of a whole nother interview that I did. Okay. And that was...
Not to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that your biggest interview, the Mike Knox?
No, Dr. Umar is my biggest interview. Yeah. Dr. Umar, we did 620,000 views on the long form of it, plus another million something on TikTok, another 200 or 300,000 on Instagram reels. Like,
so let me ask you. Let me ask.
Why I'm laughing though, right?
Let me.
So hold up, see, because this is
my son. Wow.
So his son is. He said, I gotta stop letting my son watch Dr. Umar, right?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Lance,
Lance love
15
years old, freshman in high school.
Is head of our production. You know what I'm saying?
Tell him what he said.
He went to school and told the kids in school. Lance, tell a moment with Lance. Tell him what you said, Lance. What did you say?
No, my friend was talking about like the white girl,
right?
And I was like, don't let these white women taint you, my
brother. So he gonna tell his friend in school, don't let these white women taint you. So Dr. Umar,
his influence crazy.
Influence is amazing.
Yo, man, shout out.
No, but that was just, it was funny that's your big
shout out to Dr. Umar.
Yeah, shout out Dr. Umar.
Shout out to Dr. Umar.
So Dr. Umar was our biggest interview. Mike Knox is probably second right now. Mm-hmm. We had a joint with the guy from New York that actually became a friend of mine, the Smart Guy. He was on Math Hoffa podcast, went mega viral.
Smart,
I talked to Smart.
We went and got they reached out to us because of the Umar Jones. So again, doing good work will lead to
new opportunities.
Other opportunities. Right. I actually had somebody offer me a non-exclusive TV deal from that Umar interview. It was like a little startup joint or whatever, based out of like Northern Florida or whatever. They was like, yo.
Can you mention the company? Or
it's not like they ended up turning it down. Ended up being a good thing because they didn't do nothing to like
put themselves out there
or break through. Okay. I would have been doing them more of a favor than they was doing me by offering me the deal. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so, because we're talking about this business of podcasting, right? A lot of people's perception of what podcasts are is kind of the reason why the oversaturation is happening. Yeah. A lot of people look at podcasts and they say, oh, these people are sitting on the couch talking and joking and laughing and this and that, but they're not paying attention to the journalism side of it.
Right.
Prime example, Jerry Springer, may rest in peace, Maury Povich. Any of y'all tell me somebody that was a guest on that show?
They didn't have special guests.
Right.
Yeah.
But guess what? The content
Right.
was the key.
Right.
Right? So when creating these podcasts, don't just always look at what the core of it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I want to
content that come
piggyback on
about.
something that you was saying. So like when people think about podcasts, you think about the audio part, you think about the video part, and they think about just strictly like YouTube or Spotify. But you just, something that popped in my head is like all the other platforms, like you said, TikTok and all these other places.
Yeah.
Like talk about that part of podcasting that people, they just think I do the audio, do the video, and then that's kind of it. Talk about those other parts.
That's not good enough at all. Like you doing the bare minimum. Like Joe Budden talked about that. He was beefing with Roy Ball. Y'all the bare minimum boys. Like because y'all not doing enough. You're not putting
He called them the bare
You're not putting your content in enough places in order for it to aggregate. Historically, I never really got the same amount of traction on Instagram Reels that I got on like TikTok and stuff.
Okay.
And even before that, I would just totally ignore TikTok as like, oh, this is for the kids, whatever. There's some dance shit, whatever, some trendy bullshit. Then you get on there and you realize
TikTok
like,
is
oh,
heavy.
TikTok got pockets. Like TikTok has a journalistic pocket. It got a conspiracy theory pocket. It got the Joe Rogan pocket. It got the Breakfast Club pocket, and it's like, yo, you could benefit from all of these different audiences if you aggregate your content in the right way.
So you think that's a better marketing tool than Instagram for your podcast?
You gotta.
TikTok?
It's not a better. You have to be everywhere.
Okay,
like you
gotcha.
have to have anywhere that there's digital real estate. You gotta be there. Right
All right,
now,
when wanting to be there though, what do you do? You hashtag how do you find these different avenues?
you figure.
pockets.
The thing is, you gotta figure out.
Yeah, how do you find the
Every
pockets?
platform has its own identity. I talked about this on our show. Every platform has its own identity and its own unwritten set of rules on how to engage. So when I post content on Twitter, it's not necessarily the same length or the same structure. So it may not be a tall video, it may be a sideways video that I'm posting on Twitter because every single app has its own rules of engagement.
Right.
I've gotten into now where I post select content that we do because we talk to a lot of political figures. I post that on LinkedIn. And that has its own thing because that's become a huge thing in the content game is your content LinkedIn ready or LinkedIn approved or whatever like that. So when I go to Harrisburg and I'm the first podcast to ever go on the floor at Harrisburg with the state reps and I interviewed State Rep Jordan Harris who controls our state budget. That content is going on LinkedIn. When I interviewed the owner of Mishka Vodka, who's the first black-owned, duly licensed winery and distillery in the country, that content is going on LinkedIn also. I'm not gonna put my Mike Knox content on LinkedIn because it doesn't.
That's
It
not the pocket.
doesn't
for that.
resonate.
That's
It
not
doesn't
the
match.
pocket.
But I
Right.
gotta be on every single platform and understanding the rules of engagement on that platform and how I push out my content because that might lead to a brand past the viewership. It might lead to a brand deal. It might lead to a sponsorship. It might lead to a network deal. You never know because all of these different platforms serve different purposes.
Yeah, I saw you. MLK Day just passed. and
MLK Day,
and
I was
saw
at the
it.
Philly Barristers annual breakfast that they do for Martin Luther King. Two of my friends got honored. My man Aaron Dunbar got awarded the Outstanding Young Lawyer Award. This is my homie. I
Shout
talk
out to
to
him.
every single day. He did like close to like $300 million in settlements last year.
Wow.
That's one of my best friends. You know what I'm saying? And then my man Pastor Carl Day, Culture Changing Christians, somebody that I grew up with, that I knew since I was 16, 17 years old, he got awarded the Outstanding Organization Award for all of the community work that he's been doing for the
He
last
definitely
decade.
be in the streets. I see him all over.
Right. And from that invite, we got invited because it's not just me and my partner got invited to. They do a formal gala in May. We got invited to that. So I'm in a room with 750 of the best and most established black attorneys in the state of Pennsylvania on this one day. And I'm not an attorney.
Right.
Not close to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But because of my network and my proximity to all of these different people that's doing great work and doing cool shit, to be honest,
You
and
gonna turn
breaking
it into a
barriers,
plus.
it's to our advantage.
I think the part that stands out to me is like, you know how people always say, you know, I'm a boss. You kind of explain what the epitome of boss is. It's not only just leadership, but it's vision. To be able to see those things and say, hey, like, again, people will see you as a podcaster, but it's
Right.
I'm in a room with lawyers. It's because you have the vision to understand that, hey, just because I do this type of podcast, that doesn't mean that I can't be in these other areas. So, like, when you are, you know, formulating whatever your next move is,
Right.
how do you feel like, if I'm a young person that's trying to get into the game, what do you think they should be like focusing on as far as this space? Because again, I never thought to put that on LinkedIn and get you into different spaces.
I didn't know you could put videos on LinkedIn. That's new.
I knew that part.
I thought it was for new hires and things.
And see,
like
because
that.
I work in corporate America, I'm on LinkedIn all the time, but I never thought to put those two together. So like, what do you think a new podcaster or a young person, if they're trying to get into that level, what should they be focusing on? Is it content? Is it, you know, on the back end, your organization, your structure? Like, what is the most important part they should focus on first?
One of my just life ethics period is you should operate with the end in mind on whatever you do.
Okay.
So wherever you want to be, even if you're not there yet, you set up what that looks like for when you are and create a roadmap to where you get. When you talk about goals in corporate, because I worked in corporate too, they teach you that your goals should be SMART goals.
Yep.
Specific, measurable, attainable, reach, and then tangible.
Yep.
So it's like you need to operate with all of those different things in mind to where it's like I could be like, oh, I want to have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Who the fuck wouldn't? All right, that's cool. How am I going to get there? Like, what? How do I go from the 13,000 that I'm at now to the million? Like, how do I get there? Okay, I probably need who. So I got to look at who has 1 million subscribers that do what I do. Okay. Gillian Wallow, Joe Button, Vlad got 5.5 million. No Jumper got 7 million or whatever it is. All right, what do they do? The most important thing that they all do is they have high-level guests that drive subscribership. Okay. So in order to get more subscribers and get more views, you got to get better guests. Okay. And the point that Dutch made is a phenomenal point about Jerry Springer and about Maury Povich, because it didn't matter who was on the couch. They were the star of the show. You came to watch them and what they were going to do. But not a lot of people necessarily possess that or are able to crack the algorithm. So the way that you cheat that is by having guests that are bigger than you to pull you up. Because there's a such thing, and you're gonna know what I'm talking about. You're in corporate. It's called equal business stature. Where if I'm in a room with a CEO, there's certain things I can do to be considered to be on this person's level, even if I'm not. Even if he make 10 million and I make 100,000. There's certain things that I can do in terms of understanding his business organization, what's important to him. You know, his overall business structure, knowing his story of how he got there. And having respect for the time and the conversation that gets me there. It's the same thing with content. Okay. So I took all of this shit that I learned in college and in corporate America, and I apply it to what I'm doing now with my media company, and it's working. Okay. And we consistently show up every Monday and Thursday. Every Monday and Thursday, we consistently show up and do this thing. But sometimes we plant content that ends up not being big in the moment. But when people catch up to us, the shit go to the moon. That's what happened with Smart. When we interviewed Smart, it was a dead period for him on the internet. He only had like 3 or 4 interviews. He had the Mav Hoffa Joan. That was 2 years prior, though, at that point. He had another one on like Hip Hop is Real and then like a super small channel or whatever like that. So when we put our interview out, we had like 4,000 views in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever, cool. But the clips was like kicking ass. I'm like, people going to catch up to this. Sure enough, he goes, because of our interview, he goes and does 10 other interviews. Oh, wow. That interview at 80,000 views now.
It's crazy.
So it's like, fuck what's going on in the moment. I'm doing what I'm doing righteously because I understand that I know how to ask great questions. I know how to structure a show. I know how to facilitate a conversation. And I know how to get the most out of a guest because I don't embarrass my guests. So with that in mind, my shit, even if it don't pop in a moment, it's gonna still
pop.
it might pop 3, 4, 8, 12 months later
We'll take
on
the
down the line.
residuals from
I'll
it.
take the residuals from it. I'm playing the long game. What I tell you, I'm on a 20-year content journey. Why the fuck do I care if this interview do 80,000 in 1 month and then nobody watches it again, or if it do 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 30,000, 20,000, 40,000, and then I still get to that 80,000. Who gives a fuck how I get there? I still got where I was trying to go.
And that happens in every facet of business. It happens like that. Prime example, 38 Special, right? About a year and some change ago, he released 27 albums. Right? I asked people, yo, you know who 38 Special is? A lot of people don't.
Sheesh.
Do you think his bank account don't know
Yeah.
what's going on?
Know who he is? Jay-Z.
Jay-Z knows who he is.
Rock
right?
Nation.
Rock Nation. The people that matter. So it's like, that's what made me really want to dig super into the podcast game myself, because I started to notice, like, when I did Math Hoffa, right, how the numbers were. And I'm like, oh, it's still a little core fan base of mine that want to know what's going on. Now, I take that, I funnel it in with some great people that I did their show. Now it's our show, because I couldn't leave. The questions that they were asking me, it was like too spot on. Is to where now it's like, I haven't left these brothers since we did the show. I mean,
And you shouldn't.
No, I'm not. This is where that's what I'm saying. Is like, this is where we are. We're monetized. You feel what I'm saying? So just having someone like you come on, right, knowing that, you know, we have a relationship outside of business. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you had an event, I wanted to pop in because I'm listening to your stuff without even getting a chance to know you. Eb plays it. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to
Salute
Ed,
to
man.
Black Oak.
If
If y'all haven't been out on a Thursday night, go out to Black Oak.
I love Black Oak.
It's amazing. The wine is crazy. It's a great place to learn how to drink wine.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Featuring brands from black-owned wine companies.
That's what's crazy. And they have their Winter Wine Festival coming up. That's gonna be dope. So go check out Black Oak on all platforms. You know what I'm saying? They're doing crazy things.
Check out City Winery too. Or they have some dope shows there.
Yeah, I've hosted some shows at City Winery. I did my boys Let's Keep It 100 podcast. I did a sold out show for them back in August at City Winery. The people that work there, phenomenal. And now my man Sean Salm, that used to be at Voltage Lounge, is the booking director over there too. So it's like, again, these relationships, man. Like from my party promoting and concert promoting days, these figures are all
like, bro,
still
I met
around.
Officially Ice, right?
Yeah.
During the Slaughterhouse days. That's where I know him from. So it's like, to see what him and Joe are doing, it's like, damn, bro. Like, who would have ever thought?
Yeah.
Joe Budden, a guy to me that still could pick up any beat
For
in
sure.
the world and go
He's one of them guys.
berserk.
Well, correct.
Be
Definitely
that
correct.
Joe Budden network. So it's like,
He
man,
made the top 30 podcast networks with one show.
right.
That tells you the power in that show.
Right. But this is the thing that I love. Like that's what I'm saying. Having you on is, to me, going to be so beneficial for the people who really take this shit serious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what
It's gang, man.
it was all a dream. That's
all
what
ears.
we want to do. We want to bring, like I said, it doesn't matter what the guest does. I don't care if it's a chef. We're going to figure out the best way to transition cooking into this culture. You know what I'm saying? We going, if it's a barber, okay, we gonna figure out how to make it work, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because everybody's important in the journalism game.
It's crazy you bring up chefs because I interviewed a chef on our show. His guy's name is Omar Tate. At the time, he was Esquire Magazine's Chef of the Year for 2021.
Crazy.
And he was on People Magazine's People to Watch for 2022 at the time that we interviewed him or whatever. Fast forward, he opened up his own.
Bro, can I give you your props real fast though? Like you see the humbleness and like,
No, you kind of took the words out of my mouth because I was about to say that. Not only give you your props, but like from watching your content and things of that nature, like to have that diversity in those type of guests who need the
Y'all the
spotlight
shit,
that
bro.
they should be. But then again, being able to bridge the culture with stuff like that, like how do you make them type of calls? Like, we gonna get this person?
I do quick research on people. I dig into their story. I see who they know, who we both know. Like, cause that that Instagram will show you.
Right.
The mutual
That mutual
friends
friendship,
get you a
that shit
motherfucking
gets you
interview.
everything. And then and I dig into people's stories, and then I'll hit Google, look up this, see what's on your page. Well, I can make spot decisions on people. And with Omar Tate, what fucked me up, he blew us away because from what I saw and what I found out during the interview was two totally different things. What I found out was he was a former street nigga. He grew up on Wayne Avenue in the danger zone.
Up the way.
And got shot
Right near Happy
as a
Hollow?
teenager, changed his life, put himself in culinary school, went and started, I'm chefing here, but like really chefing, not like this line cook shit that everybody in the hood talking about, I'm a chef, I'm a
Instagram
chef.
plates.
Yeah, the Instagram plates. No, really chefing to the point where he got recognized for having the best pop-up restaurant installation in the country.
Dang.
As a young black man,
How old is he, bro?
Omar probably like 34, 35.
What type of cuisine do he make?
Number one in the country.
He makes it's basically like elevated soul food. Okay. And the reason why
And he doing it the right way.
he doing it and the reason why he got recognized for having the best pop up was because it was like he basically did like the story of food from slavery to modern day was the theme of his pop up. Like, this man is
Oh, he on
phenomenal.
some shit.
Crazy.
What's
So
his name?
now,
Omar
fast
Tate?
forward, Omar Tate,
Shout out to Omar
Coltrane
Tate.
215 on Instagram.
He on
He just got nominated for a Beard Award, which is the #1 chef award you could win for the best chef in the Mid Atlantic for 2024.
Wow.
Oh man, salute to Omar.
So I use him as an example about planting seeds via content that bear fruit later on, because I knew what he was
Back then.
2 years ago when we interviewed him.
Right.
The world is catching up to, and they was already, on, because he was already the Esquire Chef of the Year or whatever, but now we going to, we breaking glass ceilings now when you start talking about Beard Awards and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And it's dope. It's dope. I think it's dope introducing like your audience, because you probably got more of a hip hop based audience, and it's probably dope that you introducing your audience to different walks of life. You know, what I mean? You might inspire a young kid that want to be a rapper that's not that good at rapping, and he might see something about chef. You know what I mean? He might. You know what I'm saying?
real.
So that's dope, man. That's dope.
Y'all inspire. I mean, y'all inspire people for sure.
I want to hear. I want to hear from Mod, man.
I'm more so listening to you. Only question I really not only, but one of the questions that I do have is like, what makes a podcast successful?
What makes a podcast
As far as
success-
team go,
it's a lot of measurables when it comes to podcasts, and I think people get caught up in like the views, the engagement, the likes, and all of that stuff. And it's more so about like your ethic, your ethic of what do you represent as a podcast, and what is your editorial POV. And if you can stick to that and and continue to grow your audience and onboard people and inspire people and engage people, that's the ultimate measure of success to me. More so past like being able to make money, be monetized, all of that stuff. Is like, are you affecting people and actually making change?
Because you're talking to people every week or
Yes.
multiple times a week for a long period of time. You build a relationship with people.
Yes.
People going back and forth, sparring in comments, or people talking to each other in DMs. You build a relationship with people.
And I've gotten to a point where now, me, Matt, and my man Big Dan, I can't never leave Big Dan out, who's one of our executive producers and our
Yeah,
director
Big
of
Dan
content.
over
In China, he just got
living
back.
his best life. Oh, he's back.
He's finally
Yeah,
back.
bro. Listen, robot pull up to his room
With the
right?
food in it.
With the food, open up, give him the McDonald's, turn around and walk off.
That's crazy.
Robot delivering McDonald's.
They got the
It's
robot
like
delivered already in China. They got
Yes.
that shit in China already.
Yeah.
The drones too.
I
Or
don't
just
know about the drones,
But
but
definitely the
I
robot.
saw him, the robot. I'm like,
crazy.
hold on. So I'm looking at
2024.
the page, I'm like,
Yeah.
That's some fly shit.
So
Yeah.
so I
it pull up.
Yeah,
Open
yeah,
up.
yeah. Yeah. I seen it.
it
I
come
seen
with a
it.
little message.
And turn around and walk
Jetsons.
off
Crazy.
on some
Crazy.
R2D2 shit.
we
I
just-
said, ain't that, yeah,
You
no,
behind,
we gotta be
behind.
careful.
R2D2
So us together with my vision, their support, and us coming up with a strategy on what we wanted to be. Basically, I talked about from 2019 to now. Even though the show started in 2017, we had a 3-month off period from 2019 to now. These guys have been completely focused, locked in, dialed in on this thing and building it. And our platform has gotten big enough where now, and Dutch know because he came to the show, we are now sharing our platform with other people in live capacity, not just in content. But like we put a show together where we had 6 other talents come, 7 actually, because we had an art installation also. 7 other talents come under the umbrella of TRPE.
That's what I was going to mention. I was going to say the last event, the live event that I saw, to have poetry, spoken word, you know what I'm saying?
Comedy.
Like, cause and the comedic aspect. Also, your sponsorships were amazing.
Yeah.
The open bar with you know what I'm saying? Just the aesthetics. And I'm an aesthetic guy. All my guys know. I miss the aesthetics. You feel what I'm saying? Like I just want to be fly and do it the right way. I know for sure that this episode right here is going to be one of our fruitful, inspirational, and sponge episodes where we pray that everything that you shared, we can help somebody. You know what I'm saying? We all know the direction that we're going because we're directional people. We are very much so looking forward to being where you guys are in the up and coming years. We're not going to stop. Like I said, we are monetized. With us being monetized, we're learning different avenues.
Yes.
Even with hearing some of the shit that you laid on us today, we're going to apply that. That's another thing too. When you listen, get that generational knowledge that somebody trying to give you. It's not always about the wealth. I didn't hear you say anything that was like, oh no, this is about the paper side
money.
of it.
Yeah, no.
You told us things and the viewer things that those thin little pieces that you add to make these houses stick together is that small cement line.
How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you intentional with stuff and you refine and work around the edges and do all of that detail oriented stuff, you're gonna get where you gotta get. You speak about we spoke about YouTube and like little bits and pieces. That's been kind of like part of the theme of this conversation is like YouTube. Any content creators got to understand YouTube give you 5 to 8 hashtags that you could put on any given video. Those hashtags help the algorithm to identify your content and what it's about. Utilize that. So when you go on No Jumper and then you see them 3 little blue hashtags lit up, that's because those were the 3 most prevalent hashtags out of the 5 or 8 that they put in there, and it populated. Boom. So now they're on the trend on that part of the wave or the algorithm for those hashtags. That metadata, when you go into more information and they give you 500 characters worth of tags that you can put in there, all of that shit matters. Like, because that gives you more opportunity to have your video associative to something that's already moving with that same name, whether it be Vlad or Drink Champs or $1 Million Every Game, Gilly, Wallow. You have to utilize all of that in your favor when you're a small content creator in order to make sure that your content is cutting through.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, since we're talking about YouTube,
That's game.
and everybody knows YouTube or social media anyway for the viral moments.
Yeah.
So when you get those videos that are viral, or you get the, Dr. Umar that has over 500,000 views, kind of break down like what that provides you as a as an entity, like, because most people think, oh, you go viral, oh, here goes the money from YouTube or whatever.
Right.
So, what are some of the more key things you think that those viral or videos that got a lot of views, what do they bring to you?
Exposure. The biggest thing is it creates exposure to your channel. No different than like right now, like the biggest thing on the internet is what? Cat Williams on Shannon Sharp on Club Station.
Last 2 weeks.
So right now, Shannon Sharp is out kicking his coverage, so to speak, because now videos that might have gotten 700,000 views or whatever in 24 hours is getting 2.5 million.
And now he's transitioned over to his nightcap.
His
shit,
nightcap
too. You
show
see,
to it now,
Yeah,
yeah.
he like, oh, I ain't seen him so much.
Yeah, because you gotta capitalize on that moment.
They said he passed Joe Rogan last week in
With the
views.
single
That-
views, yeah.
it's
So
crazy.
it's like when you look at it from that standpoint, it's like exposure. So Club Shay Shay has this bomb go off, this hydrogen bomb of content on the internet that goes off. That's at 200 million views when you aggregate all of the clips and all of that stuff. So you got 200 million views. So that means that no less than 200 to call it 600 million people have seen this.
Wow.
Right.
Because a lot of times people aren't, especially if they home watching it on their TV, which a lot of us do, watch YouTube on television. We ain't watching it by ourselves. We watching it with 2-3 other people. So 200 to 600 million people seen this. So now you're exposed to double the size of America potentially. So now it's your job to feed the algorithm. So now, like what Shannon did and his team did, and kudos to them, because they bled this shit. Clip every hour. It's a clip dropping every hour. For 4 days, is a clip dropping.
Okay.
You get to the end where they got a clip where he's signing off in the clip. Because we done bled this shit from the beginning to the end because we gotta milk this for all it's worth because you don't know if you're gonna get another one of these.
They knew right after they dropped their first clip when that shit did what it did, and then people doubled back to go see what was going on, and then they kept releasing, and they see these numbers going up. Like I said,
it's no sleep
I
now.
never knew he even had Nightcap.
Yeah.
Now
You know now.
You know
And
now.
Nightcap, the page itself, the Club Shay Shay page jumped like 1 million subscribers. The Nightcap page jumped 400,000 subscribers. So it's like all of that leads to that exposure leads to more monetization, more potential brand deals, more favor in any negotiation that you go into because who's telling you no? Because you could drop one of these at any given time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you know what them phones
creates
doing right now.
Economy and access to capital.
His
which
phone right now,
Yeah.
bro. I believe he got.
So the main three things is exposure, economy, and access to capital, which historically people of color, black folks, have been barred from.
Okay.
We have a lot of barriers to entry when we trying to do shit, and the internet is one of the first times in history where
Makes it even.
it makes it an even playing
Wild
field.
West. Yeah.
Because if you have your metadata, you use your tags responsibly, you understand the algorithm, you make sure you have the drop time, you curate your clips the right way. All of that shit could create a moment. I didn't have no idea Mike Knox was going to do 200,000 views in 10 days. I didn't know that.
How I knew that it was going to be a good one for y'all was because me just knowing Mike and knowing. See, people are they dig into what history.
Yes.
A lot of people want to know what happened. So when you are a guy like Mike Knox who have been in a lot of rooms,
Ton of rooms.
but you
Especially the
haven't
50 Cent
gotten
rooms.
the exposure that a lot of people outside of Philadelphia would get. You don't, people don't get the story.
Yeah.
So when you're able to drop that hidden gem, like Math Hoffa, he dropped the hidden gem with me. If you paid attention, when I did that interview, what happened, it started a trickle effect of a lot of people wanting to come on and reiterate on some of the things that I was saying. Even just speaking about Rottweiler producing for me and Spade and things like that. It made him. Mav called me and said, yo, bro, like a lot of niggas reached out and want to, sit down and tell their side of that part of history.
Right. And what I think, like because we're in this exposure culture where people are just exposing everything, I think that actually works for our legacy acts because not that they're necessarily going to be exposing things, but stuff that we just didn't know existed. We can sit and talk to them about, you know, Mike Knox, how did you really get to GU? And like, we didn't know. We just hear, oh damn, he went GU in the damn. So we don't know the ins and outs and the intricacies of it. So that's why those things work in our culture. It's a shame that the younger group, they expose everything now. So it's like in 20 years,
it ain't nothing to talk about.
We don't want to talk about
you done already emptied the clip.
So
even with that, the blackballing thing. Blackballing don't exist no more because it brings about curiosity.
Yep.
Once you get people to be curious about why somebody don't want you to do some shit that you think that you supposed to do, people gonna dig in and you're gonna end up getting that view.
Yeah.
That one view is what matters in this game. It's like you press that button. Once you give me them certain amount of seconds, even if you leave my motherfucking video, I still got that view.
Yeah, right. Kanye West said it. He said everybody's been expecting, flying cars to be the future and all of that. He said, nah, the internet is our sky. Like, look up. That shit is all around you. It's free Wi-Fi in every major metropolitan city in America. Why? Because we need that access.
Well, Kiss said it the best. The sky is a view, baby, never the limit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, we got these freedom boxes. You got people that exclusively cut content with iPhones. All Country Wayne skits he's ever done, he made $20 million last year, was with an iPhone on a gimbal. That ain't no camera crew. He said, I put my money into my people. He said, that same money I could have went and bought 4 red cameras for $20,000 a piece, whatever. I'd rather just pay the people that's around me and we just, figure out how to work this phone and maximize this.
That's dope.
So it's no limitations no more. It's no limitations. There's no excuses. You just got to figure out your editorial, your POV, what messaging you want to get out to people, and just consistently show up on your piece of digital real estate, and eventually you're going to have a breakthrough.
Well, we doing things today differently because, it's beautiful to have somebody that does what we do.
Game.
And it's like, Siege would usually have like our nice little crazy like closing list of like our questions of things. So I really do want to still follow our real little routine because I would love to hear his opinion on this Benny the Butcher album.
We don't want to switch. I don't want to switch just yet.
I don't want to switch, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that we get both perspectives from people.
Hell yeah. I'm with y'all, man. We here.
I just want to ask you one more thing about the YouTube thing. Now, when you say algorithm, learn the algorithm, a lot of people don't know what that means. Like, could you explain that a little bit more in detail?
What it really means is how the traffic on the app ebbs and flows.
Right.
When's peak time, when's downtime. When's peak time, when's downtime. When's mid-level time, when's up, when's peak time. Okay. And understanding that, and it's all tied to when people show up on the platform. Mm-hmm. And every app has a different algorithm. Like right now, Instagram on Mondays is cooked. Motherfuckers is up, they at work, whatever. It's nothing shaking on Instagram until at least 6 to 9 p.m. on a Monday. Tuesday, a little bit different. Closer you get to the weekend, it's cracking.
Right.
It's cracking. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, people are in survival mode.
I ain't gonna hold you. It's like the streets though.
Absolutely.
If you a hustler and you hustling, them early during the week, slow.
Closer you get to payday.
Closer to Friday.
Thursday, Friday payday, it's starting to pick up.
Yeah.
Wine and spirits don't look the same on Monday night.
That's crazy.
Wine and spirits look the same on
Nobody's
Monday
in there at noon.
Right.
And all of this information is like readily available. The only one you can't really figure out is like TikTok. Like people are like trying to come up with they thought processes on what they think it is, but they done came out and told the government we could heat shit up. We can make it crack if we want to.
Yeah.
Right.
They could just look at your video. It could be a video, a Dutch rapping from 1998 on a fucking blurry little camera, a 380p camera, whatever. And if TikTok say, "Oh no, he rapping good," hit that heat up button. 10 million views. It's gonna go up. So they're different in that way. Whereas like they've already put it on the record to the government. We could make whatever we want go viral. We control our own everything. Everybody else designs their shit to have some sort of structure to it where it's predictable based on when people show up. TikTok is completely unpredictable.
So you could do the predictive analysis on those other ones where this TikTok is just
what
like
the fuck going on?
Yeah.
Like to that point, my 3 biggest videos that I've ever put out on YouTube all dropped on Thursdays and Fridays. What does that tell you? It's more web traffic on Thursdays and Fridays than it is on other fucking days.
Right.
No, that's good information, man. Like we need that type of information out in the universe. A lot of people don't know this. People withhold information. Like my man was saying, people won't give you game to help further what you doing. It's like. It's crazy, man. My
thought process is the more information I have that I share, the better off we all are. Because if y'all platform is at 262,000 subscribers, my platform at 230, and then he started a second podcast and his shit at $150. We all win because I'm gonna go on all y'all shit and I'm gonna drive traffic
More
back to my
exposure.
platform. It's more exposure.
Right.
Why wouldn't I want y'all to blow the fuck up? That's just like some
marketing.
some goofy, dumb thought processes.
Yeah.
Me and this nigga talking about doing an album. I ain't rapped in 10 years, but we gonna figure it out. If I gotta bring some young boys in there,
It's
to
a
write some
market.
verses.
It's a market for it. If they got a market for it, I'm selling it.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
If I could find a way that motherfuckers could sell looks at people, I'm a sell that shit. If I could do like this and we make $1,000, I'm gonna try to figure out how to keep making
And real quick, 'cause
motherfuckers
I know
look.
Siege want to jump in here with something, but the main thing is what you saying. At the core of it is a lot of people be like this or that. It's like no, do everything.
Right.
Whatever,
A little
do
bit of
whatever.
everything.
Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Make clothes. Don't do nothing illegal, but make
Right,
clothes.
right,
Do a podcast. Produce shows. Book other talent for concerts. Do all of that shit.
Eventually
That's why they
something
call
gonna
it
stick.
streams of revenue,
Revenue.
bro.
Dreams.
A stream don't go one way. It's you gotta.
I was just telling my son that the other day. I was like, you're gonna have to figure out in life how more than one ways to make money. Because if one thing
Gotta
falls
turn one
apart,
into two.
you still got something else to keep you going. You know what I'm saying?
Insurance.
You gotta have it.
So
that's why I don't give my kids no keys on wealth. I give them keys to that knowledge, man. I tell them, okay, once you spend the money I gave you, what you gonna do after that?
Yeah.
How do you
How do you replenish that?
incur
Right.
How do you
more
replenish
funds?
that?
How do you keep your cup full once you get thirsty and you drink all your fucking water? You ain't got a well outside, so what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You got
it
to
out.
create other forms of nourishment for yourself. I like to keep my mind, soul, spirit, everything else hydrated before I do anything else. You know what I'm saying? It's the way that I'm built. So with podcasting in its entirety, I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm never going to be like everybody else. Half of the niggas still can't rap like me.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Half of the niggas still ain't never going to be.
But
the
my
way
thing
that I
is,
am.
I don't see like with podcasts. I don't see any podcasts being exactly alike because we might have the same person we're interviewing, but we all gonna ask questions different.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's no way we can be like another podcast, or nobody can be like us. Man, we individuals at the end of the day. So that's how I look at it, man.
That's the shit I need you to be popping.
That's how I look at it.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Like as I just now said, you know what I mean? We ain't got no competition. We is the competition.
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
We got to beat ourselves out every episode.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
So when it comes to like your media empire that you building, like what's next for your business? What are y'all looking to?
The main thing is it's a couple actionable items, like stuff that I gotta do in the next 90 days, or like I'm holding myself accountable to. Like we have to have our own studio space.
Okay.
It's in terms of like freedom of recording or whatever, and being able to go to a set location 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and be able to record, because you're not necessarily going to always have the perfect content situation where something is scheduled a week in advance and you talk to the publicist or you talk to the manager, or if you got a one-to-one relationship like I do with a lot of people, you talk to the artist and it's like you can manipulate stuff and shit fall through, whatever. I need my own bricks, my own space where I can be directive and like, oh, where you at? Oh, you in this? Oh, who in the city? All right, bet. Bring them here. Like to be able to capture stuff on the fly, because if I'm going to build my life around this shit, I gotta really do that.
Right.
I gotta have the equipment, the camera. I gotta have everything on deck, and my team gotta be in that same situation. And it's like, yo, niggas got wives, niggas got kids, stuff like that. So it's like, if you got family obligations, that's what it is.
Right.
But if I got to jump in there and do something solo dolo in order to get the content and
Need
put it
that
on the
space.
channel, so be it.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
So that's the main thing is having my bricks, so that then I can do the other thing, which is begin to produce and onboard more shows into like, our network or whatever, and show them, I don't want to say the right way, but show them the right structure to establish on how to maximize whatever your audience is and how to get the most out of what you're doing.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense because, we do have a lot of talent. It's a very talented city, but the mentoring, the coaching, the things like that is where we lack. So
super lacking.
We need those spaces.
People hoard resources. They get a resource, throw it in a headlock, and bleed it for all it's worth. And then by the time the other people figure out that this was a resource, it's burnt out. It's not even viable no more.
Yep.
What,
And then my third thing, real quick, my third thing is I'm actively planning 2 other shows that I want to start. One is like a streaming show, Down Bad with Chad, and then another show like called Elevated Conversations, where it's like I'm more so talking to those people that like I said, control life as opposed to like just control culture. And I'm in a specific platform for that, for people that's looking for that type of talk.
Okay.
On my Patrick Bet David shit.
Yeah, I'm definitely tuning into that one.
In this YouTube space, or in the podcast space as well, what, in your opinion, like what's been the most valuable information you got? Or suggestion, I'd say. Game.
My man Justin Emery has given me a lot of indirect game. He didn't know he was giving me game. But that's who I started with as far as like was our producer or whatever. He gave me a lot of like indirect game just by telling me like, yo, 5 episodes you establish a show, 15 episodes you consider the real podcast, 50 episodes
Nuances.
you can start monetizing and stuff like that. All our first like 5, 6, 7 sponsors, he brung all of them Jones. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it was product, sometimes it was money, whatever. But he just believed in us and was like, from day one, he was like, "This is the best podcast I ever heard." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like we just 2 niggas fucking around figuring?" Like, no.
Who sponsored y'all last?
Our last live show, we had Team Hennessy. Shout out my man DJ A Boogie. He's the market director for Hennessy.
Shout out to
and
A
for Moet Chandon Champagne. LVMH. So he's one of their market directors for the Mid-Atlantic region. Grand Coramino Tequila that came through my man Cousin E. That's Kevin Hart's brand. My man Cousin E is a brand ambassador for Grand Coramino Tequila.
Salute to Cousin E.
Yeah,
Shout out to Cousin E.
Black Oak Wine Club and Mishka Vodka, who's now like one of our official partners, and then Pure Fuel.
Wallow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Rata.
yeah,
Wallow and the rest of the
Rata,
good guys.
Doobie, Mustafa Shakur, and then Wallow and Gil.
Oh,
is
I
the
know
stars.
Mustafa Shakur was a part of that.
Yes, yeah. And my man, shout out my man TB Tyron Barnes from Drip Soul Supper. He just got appointed as their creative director for all of their merch and stuff for Pure Fuel Sports. So
And I want to
like,
wholeheartedly tell you, human to human, man, I really, really, really am happy for y'all with the Revolt situation, bro. That
beautiful.
right there for guys from my city that are doing it at the highest level. I was just like I said, just listening first and becoming a fan of the content. I was wondering where y'all was gonna go. I'm like, damn, who were they gonna sign with? Like, I'm like, I know it's coming because shit, Dr. Umar. Like, you knew once y'all did the Dr. Umar, I knew the phone started going crazy
definitely.
at that point. And then to see how y'all live shows are and be a part of it and see like, yo, y'all had a room full of diversity.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a bunch of chicks who like podcasts or like y'all because y'all dress a certain way. It was husbands, wives, brothers, cousins, artists, poets, all these types of people, a melting pot of just networking. Because by the bar, when people are taking their break, I'm standing over there by the bar and people are walking up like, damn, Dutch, I grew up to your music. And oh, well, what you do? Well, I'm the head of this, or I do marketing over here. And it's like, it was, man, I really, really, really pray that God keeps giving you what y'all working hard for, bro.
Appreciate that, right?
Real rap. Like,
It's dope, man, because, like, see, we don't do the hating shit over here, man. Like, this shit inspire us. See y'all,
Absolutely.
wait, what y'all doing, that inspire us, bro. So keep doing what y'all doing.
And how
man.
I get in this room today is because he was in that room that day. Me and him talk. I bow down. Like, this one of my idols. Somebody that when I was going to Central, I'm a Southwest nigga taking the trolley and the sub to go to Central. And one of my close friends, my man Jakal, is from Erie Avenue. And he would come and tell me, yo, Kyle? Yes, that's one of my homies. And he would come to school like, Dutch and Spade just laid some new shit down. You gotta da-da-da. Because Dutch said, you thought I was a people person. I was too used to snatching people person. Like,
whoa.
So this is where I go back with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up under Philly's Most Wanted and Stevie G. Stevie G is my
salute to, man, that was one of the guys who set the tone for me.
You see what I'm saying?
And I want to tell you, like I tell everybody that's ever told me what you just now said, Thank you for listening. That was the point. And everything that Major Figures, Dutch and Spade was doing was we wanted people to know that Philly had some of the illest spitters in the game.
And y'all proved your point time and time again.
Like I fuck with them too. I used to listen to them Dutch and Spade, but I ain't. This nigga wasn't my idol though. I ain't say that.
You a hating ass nigga. But guess what though? I can rap better than your ass.
Man. I ain't even gonna bring my son in this. You ain't fucking with me, bro.
Well, we can have a live battle one day whenever.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying?
I got bars, man. Trying to tell you.
What you want to go now?
I got you.
Shout to our man Black Out. Yo, we got an official battle coming up with me and Black Out.
Now y'all gotta do it. Y'all put it on wax. You gotta do it.
Right.
It's up now.
I'm with it.
Yeah, once
I
it's
ain't
on the
scared,
net.
Ain't no limitation
coming
to the
down
bars
with
neither.
right.
But I say all of that to say the transformative property of him being in that room that day, me talking to him, giving it up the way that I did. Me and him basically been on the phone every other day since, talking about different strategy and this is that
Marketing,
and third. That puts me in the room
SEOs,
today
coding.
to where now I got a one-to-one relationship with everybody else that's here.
Right.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is? So if I'm in the field of podcasting and I'm a young dude trying to get a podcast, should I be around? Do you think I should be in those rooms?
Absolutely. I mean, that's just a regular fact of life. Lawyers know lawyers, doctors know doctors, dope boys know dope boys, podcasters should know podcasters, videographers know videographers. You know what I'm saying? Just like if y'all couldn't get this video team here today, I'm pretty sure they was unavailable for whatever reason. They could have said, "Oh, but my man got 3 cameras." Like, so it's like, and as media people and as journalists, we should know all of the above because we're selling conversation and content. So we should know everybody. We should know the lawyers. We should know the doctors. We should know the dope boys. We should know the other podcasters, the videographers, the who's your local, who's your city councilman, who's your state rep, because all of them have valuable information that they could come sit on your platform and give to the audience.
Just like the website guru you gave me the other day.
That's somebody that I know from a past life of mine when I was producing and doing music and all of that. My man B. Lee shot a lot of videos for us. He did my website. He built me a World Star Hip Hop back in the day for like $1,500. I couldn't believe how robust this fucking website was. So when he called me and say I need a website person,
Right.
Brandon Lee, it's simple. Like, because I've been building all of these relationships for the last 15 years since I left corporate America, to where now I'm a funnel to be able to disperse different people for different stuff for whatever it is. Just 2 weeks ago, I just set up 2 caterers. My mom is a department head at CHOP for the anesthesiology department. She told me every Friday we do catered lunch for, our whole department, whatever. We want to try to switch it up, different people. I put 2 black caterers in touch with my mom on these opportunities that's going to pay between $500 to $2,000 a gig. That don't have nothing to do with me.
Right.
You need this. I know people that do this. I put y'all together. I get out the motherfucking way. I didn't say, oh, by the way, yeah, my mom, I need 10%. I need a deuce off every catering job, whatever. Like, no.
When I did JL Jupiter, right?
I go though.
I did JL Jupiter. I took them to a couple of the places that I like to eat. They happen to be friends of mine.
Yeah.
I don't go in there like, yo, let me get a platter. Like, it's just, you don't do shit like
That's
this.
usually how I go though.
It's uncouth.
Yo,
Especially
let me get a
platter. I mean, yeah, in the
That's
hood,
how
but it's like, that's the sad part about
Yeah.
our... I'm gonna leave that alone.
Right.
I'm gonna just go ahead and leave
That's
that
a whole
alone.
separate
Yeah,
shit.
that's a whole. We gonna get into that.
That's real
you know
talk
what I mean?
though.
But
Everybody
it's-
always wants.
Yeah, it's a chase your tail game around this joint, man.
And a lot of people have a problem. A lot of people that come from our culture, man, they'll step over $1 to pick up a penny. They be worried about bullshit. They be worried about something that really, in the grand scheme of things, don't matter, and they miss the point. The relationship is what's to be nurtured. If I make money with you today or tomorrow or a year from now, we still friends.
Right.
Our relationship is not contingent upon whether we make money together or not. But when we come together, all of these different brilliant minds in this motherfucking room, it's inevitable that at some point we're going to make money together. But that's not our relationship.
Yeah, if
isn't
you make that
contingent
the
on
common goal, you won't have no money. That you're gonna lose what gets you the money, and that's the relationship, the equity in that relationship.
Exactly.
That's why I stress that. Have those relationships
No
that
doubt.
you can call people at the drop of a dime, and if they're not busy and they're not doing something that's pertaining to their business, and they can meet you halfway, it's gonna work out for you.
Yeah.
That's
If-
why I back to what I said. Our culture gotta get out of that. Oh, I don't want no new friends. Like that shit corny.
Never
That
know.
shit, that shit gonna
what's
have
so
you
crazy?
stagnated
It
forever.
is, but I don't mind the people that are in that space. I just keep the motherfuckers away from me. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like it's okay. Like it's sad to say it, but without the junkie, the drug dealer can't make no money. Without the listener, the rapper can't make no money. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who say, well, gangster rap shouldn't be out there, but there's a lot of people that buy that shit. There's a lot of people that say, oh, they talk about pussy too much, but niggas buy that record or women buy that record. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, man, this right here to me is one of the most informative joints that we did, and I'm happy.
doubt.
I'm
No
happy
doubt.
right
Happy
now,
to be
guys. That
happy
you know,
to be
I'm one of them type of people. I like to share with our viewers and people who subscribe to our channel to keep doing that and like, share, and make
Definitely.
sure y'all go over to the Realest Podcast and make sure y'all check out what my brother got going
man.
on. But in
Real.
closing, Siege, you know what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So let's pop it because we closing out. So let's do what we do for our viewers, because it's about to be time for them to grind mod the fuck up with these comments. You know what I mean? Because here we go. Can we get into it?
Before we get there,
No, because y'all keep before we
No,
get
go ahead,
there
go ahead.
into me, man.
because I just want, I just want him to be able to talk about anything you got coming up, that you want to let some of our viewers know or, be aware of.
No, because listen, bro, that shit is too fly. We don't.
I'm like, wait, what?
No, I was doing this shit that niggas doing this city. Like, I had kind of felt that way for a minute. Like, let's hate on Diddy for a second.
The biggest things I'm working on right now, I'm producing live shows for other podcasts and stuff. Like people that haven't necessarily produced their own shows and stuff like that. Because I come from
Diddy, I'm over here to my left.
I come from the live event space or whatever. I was a former marketing director of Vanity Grand. I did concerts, all different type of stuff. So I got all of these relationships with Live Nation and AEG and all these different people that own venues. And
Fucking holding out on me over there.
I've produced I want to say like 16 or 17 live shows now between us and the other ones that I did for other people. So that's like something that I'm passionate about, is like, helping other podcasts monetize themselves with live show production. And how I do it is, it's like, I pair them with a venue that makes sense. Basically a room where it's like you guaranteed to sell out. Okay. I help them with their marketing. I help them with pricing their tickets out, like, all of that. And then anything that I make off of it is off the back end. So I ain't like, yo, give me a nickel and I'll hook you up with like, nah, it's like we break bread together. Whatever the upside is, I get to participate in that, but I give them a structure. Again, we keep using that word, a structure that's repeatable, because that's the main thing when you're talking about shows and stuff like that, is creating something that's repeatable with a strategy that's not just like, oh, we just gonna throw a show up in 40 days and hope for the best. Like, nah, we not doing none of that. Anybody that work with me, I'm guaranteeing them sellouts on they first show, because the optic of saying we had a sold out show creates so much brand equity when you going forward. And a sellout could be 70 people. If that's what the room capacity is, you sold out. Sold the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So next go round, you could do 100-person room, and then we sell that out, and then we at 150, and then like, so it's like I'm giving, because I already had, a lot of people don't know where to start.
Exactly.
I know where to start and how to finish.
Your
so
last
I fill
show,
in a lot of those blanks.
What did the room hold the last show?
We just did 100-person capacity.
Okay, so let me tell you.
At a premium price point, $50 to $100 a ticket.
Tell you what happened, right? So no, let me tell you what happened. I walk in, right? So you know how y'all had it. I walk in, the bar is right there. Then I look over. Before I walked into that room, I'm like, oh, okay, this shit about to be, just from y'all setup. I'm like, damn, for Hennessy, I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, shit. Then I turn and look how the chairs went all the way to the fucking back, right? So now watching people come in, I'm like, okay. Okay. Oh, shit. to the point where you look at people standing up, they ain't got nowhere to sit at. Y'all needed more chairs. So it's crazy. What do you do in that instance? You know what I'm saying? When you're over you're over capacity.
A lot of what it is we do a couple different structures with our shows. So that was basically what would be called like one of our private shows or whatever, where it's like it's an all-inclusive ticket to where it's like basically you leave your wallet at home. You know what I'm saying? You pay for your ticket, you get a show, you get multiple talent, you get food, you get top shelf alcohol, you get refreshments, whatever the case may be, and then that's that.
So it's kind of like how somebody would do a cabaret.
Exactly. It's like an all-inclusive ticket or whatever. Then we do other shows where it's like a lower, reduced ticket price, but it's like a bigger venue. So like for our anniversary show last year, we did Noto. We was the first podcast to do a live podcast at Noto. We did 450 people on a ticket price that ranged anywhere between like $20 to $75. Because on our VIP ticket at the $75, you got a seat in a section. You got 2 free drink tickets from Hennessy. You got a piece of merchandise to go home with that was customized for this particular show that stamps that you were here. Right. So we essentially do art activations and merchandise activations within our shows as just like an add-on in addition to you getting the podcast and the liquor and the party and get to see the pretty girls and get to hang around my lawyer homies and my doctor homies and all of that. And it's almost like how Meech said, like a BMF situation. You might cut your teeth on something and get to come up courtesy of the mob. Right. You know what I'm saying? You get to be around all of these successful people because everybody in the room is somebody in their respective field. So it's a vibe. We ain't never had no close to an incident, none of that. Motherfuckers come by bottles. They passing us bottles on the stage. It's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we created this environment where whether it's a small private show or a big, more robust show, people have a time and they remember what it's like to be at a TRPE live show.
So somebody wants to book you for their live show, right?
Yeah.
Or get some information from you because I know you also do consultation.
Yeah.
Where does our subscribers can they go to?
They can hit me on probably the best way is email. Because anything you send me on Instagram, I'm not going to see. I'm not going to see it. So officialtrpe@gmail.com. That's the best way is via email. And y'all can go to my website and put in requests on the website, officialtrpe.com. And then there's like a request form or whatever. You could go right on there, put your info in there, and it'll populate to my email also.
So y'all heard the man. If y'all need some service, he got the juice, so better reach out because we got a lot of game here today, like a lot.
Sure.
And, I mean, I appreciate it. Like, genuinely.
Oh, dog.
Like, we genuinely appreciate the information.
I appreciate y'all having me, man, because I don't really get in pieces. I get to talk like this on my show, but it's more so about the listener experience with my show. So it's like a lot of times we talk about entertainment news or we got a guest or whatever. So it's like it kind of gets abbreviated. So to be able to come here and speak in long form this and give out all of this information to where people like, yo, how do I watch this show? Now I have a singular piece of content where I can point to people and say, oh, watch this show, and it's all there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed to be able to come here and do it with y'all.
Sure. So in closing, like I said, I like to always close out our joint with a few of our hip hop type of questions.
Yeah, it's only right.
I know you said that you didn't get a chance to dig in on Benny.
Nah,
album
I heard
yet,
maybe 3 or 4 songs, but I'm a super Benny fan. So my thing is, I don't want to rush to listen to it. I want to give his really proper perspective and like clear my palette of other music content and all of that, and really like lock in with the album.
So with him and Conway dropping around the same time, how do you feel about that?
I think it's brilliant. It's cross promotion because they are forever associated to being together between the label, the freestyles, all of this stuff. Is like, yeah, it makes perfect sense that they should always drop
like that.
It should be a West Side album, a Conway album, a Benny album, or some combination of the 3 within like a 2-month span. It should always be like that because one audience feeds into the next one. They share some fans, but then they also have their own fan bases because that's a debate within Griselda who better, Benny or Conway, and all of that. So they should play into that shit. They should release an album on the same day.
I love it because it feel like 96. It feel like Bad Boy. It feel like Styles P. Jada Kiss. It got that feel with them two together. Like it got.
Yeah.
I love that. I
With
love
that being
combination.
said, with the finale to close this shit out, without any thought to it, Cdiddy's top 5 people in hip hop.
Present day.
All time.
Or
all
all time. Big, Jay, Wayne, Ice Cube,
Mm.
and Nas.
I like your list. we had this conversation before early on in the podcast. I like episode 1.
Yeah.
And I was like, Big, man. Like, Big is the greatest.
Yeah.
He gonna say, man,
Man,
Big,
don't
man,
get
who
me
he
started.
body, man. He ain't never body no. I said, man, you losing your mind,
You said
man.
that, bro?
How many bodies he got? He ain't, man.
Ma,
what
you
like,
said that, bro?
You had to be there. That's
I'm gonna
what I
give
tell-
y'all my elevator pitch on why Big is the greatest and why Big is so important. In basically 3 albums, but it's 2 albums. You know what I'm saying? But in 3 discs as a solo
You could
artist.
say 4 albums though. You could say Little Kim album as well.
And the Junior Mafia album too. But I'm just taking just his
His
solo
story.
work.
Right.
His 3 discs. He did every style of rap. He covered every topic from poverty to suicide. He covered relationships. He did the Bone Thugs flow. He told story. He did everything you can do within 3 discs.
Pac also did the same thing.
Of his
like
of
Pac
his
also
work.
did the same thing.
I like Big.
and in
Pac
addition,
also did the same thing.
and
like Big.
he didn't do the
Don't
Bone
get me
Thugs flow.
started,
He did
man.
not do the Bone Thugs flow.
Yeah.
And in addition, Big found motherfuckers that was just around him. These are not rappers. And wrote
Made him
and
rap.
structured.
What
Now,
does
his
doing?
pen-
Made him rap.
What
Bro,
does
let me-
doing
let
the
me- let me-
Bone
hold on,
Thugs
hold on,
flow? No,
hold on.
because you.
Let
I
the
said
man-
every style of rap.
Cause he rap fast.
Stop.
Pac didn't do.
No.
He ain't rap
No.
fast with them.
And what's
Pac
his-
ain't rap
what's-
fast with
what's
Bone
his-
Thugs.
He rap with,
What's his
Bone
what's his
Thugs.
club
rap
record?
regular.
What's Pac's club record? Like Biggie
ain't had
don't
none.
Dude,
That's
that
what I'm
dude Big got a
What
Dear
you
Mama
mean?
He ain't
though.
had none.
But he don't. But I'm just saying.
Or hit him up.
What
Big
was his?
covered-
What was his?
He got a
club
Dear
record?
Mama and a Hit him up, bro. In
Big
one
covered
life.
All
every
Eyes
area.
on Me was a
Ain't
fucking
no
club
club
record.
song.
Not no club
Can't
song.
dance to that song.
We talking about
How
nasty
do you
How do
girl.
you
want
want
it?
it?
How do
Come
you
on,
want
We got some
bro.
club records. Oh, and
Right.
so
I'll give you
to
that.
encapsulate my point, then we can debate it. He took motherfuckers that were just randoms, like his little homies, and made them a platinum album. That's all his pen. That's all his guidance. That's all his executive production. All of that, and then he made Kim the most important female rapper of the time, and that's all his pen, all his guidance, all his everything. And we substantiate it with when you hear the fucking reference track from
that blew my mind.
from whatever the song was.
What's the joint?
Queen Bitch.
Yes.
The reference track of him rapping the whole shit.
whole
Like,
fucked me up.
this nigga was an alien and he was 24 years old.
Yeah.
So when you talk about with Big
And
checks,
I ain't never heard nobody break
Check
Big
every
down
box.
like
it's,
that.
to
never
me,
heard nobody break
to
Big down
me,
like that.
There's 2 different lists. There's the accomplishments list and there's the ability list.
Right.
Not everybody is on both lists. Big is at the top of both lists to me.
I agree.
Because he went diamond. He went quadruple platinum with Ready to Die. He went platinum with Junior Mafia. He went 4 times platinum with Little Kim. And his ability through everything that he did you can't really dispute his ability.
Okay, Pac did the same thing.
Nah, not the way Big
No,
did
I
it.
lean
Pac
on.
did the same
Hey,
thing.
if we talk about playing
Pac
with
doesn't
style,
have a what's beef or a niggas bleed. He does
don't.
not have that in his catalog.
And then
On
we
the
talk about
storytelling.
playing with.
What does
if
he
we talk
have?
about playing with
'Cause
flows.
since y'all,
Big, the king of
Since
flows.
y'all gonna say what
King
he
of
don't
flows.
have, what does he have?
He has one of the most perfect albums in hip hop history
All
in
Eyes on
Machiavelli.
Me.
Yeah.
Top to
Machiavelli,
bottom, Machiavelli checks every box. And
So you're saying that the Outlaws didn't do well?
they didn't do shit.
They ain't do nothing.
Not do well. They didn't do shit.
Not Junior Mafia.
Not like-
They
You
didn't. They
You can't
didn't.
compare him
Like,
to
where's
Junior
the platinum record? Where's the
What's the outlaw
Where's the
song
3
that-
times get money?
Get- right, I was about to
platinum
say that.
single?
Now, if you want to say
Hit him up.
if
bro.
you equate all 5 of his
That's a
projects,
diss record. That's not a
That's-
single.
They
like,
they were
is a diss
one of the first motherfuckers to take a diss record and make it do what it did.
Can you
yeah,
name
but
what?
it took the sensationalism
What?
of a diss record to sell it. Everything else they did, we didn't care.
Yeah.
Can you name one of the outlaws?
Gaddafi,
Can you name another one?
You got Gaddafi, the hottest one. Maybe the last one, Napoleon.
Can you name Junior Mafia?
I don't know. I know Kim
Lil
and
C's
C's.
and Lil Kim.
And who else was in there?
I don't know the other name.
I see Gutter. You got.
See, gotta never
Rap.
rap.
I'm saying the
in his
ones
still
that
part of
rap.
the
I know
mafia.
it's
He never
little
rapped in
something.
his life.
Mafia.
Little
The
something.
big when it died, he'd probably
When you
had
talk
an
about his pen like that
Gutter wasn't
and
never. I
5
call Gutter right
projects.
now.
The
And
big
Gutter
when
tell
it
you.
died, he probably would have
Bro,
had.
I call Gutter right now. Gutter
And when
tell
he
you.
died, he delivered arguably the greatest verse in hip hop history on Victory. He was still peaking as a writer and as an MC.
Now, and I think that with him and Pac, we didn't get to see them peak.
No, not at
We didn't get
24.
to see them peak. I do feel like, though, I mean, when you say 5 albums, that's different because my argument is always, how could you be the best off of 2 projects? But
it
when
ain't
you
two.
when you
Gotta
consider
count
all
them
of
all.
them,
Gotta count
I
them all.
never heard nobody include all of them.
His pen game.
I mean, I still don't think he the craziest. I'm gonna keep it a
the
bean. I
best,
think
man, I'm
Big
telling
crazy.
you.
I don't think
the
Big
best.
the
I mean,
craziest though.
but think about if you apply that same logic to basketball.
What's-
Because they say Mike is the best of all time, but Bill Russell got 11 rings. So it's like, how could you be
That's
the best?
different.
How?
I mean, at the same time, that's different because I joined like a technicality. Who Bill Russell playing against?
It's not the point. He still
can't-
went to
you
11.
can't say who
Okay,
Big
so
was
you
playing
don't
that-
think
but that
bar
goes back
for
to
bar,
my
Biggie the
point.
best rapper, bar for bar?
hands down.
Hands down.
I think if niggas pull up, right, if I would always bring it back to, if niggas pull up and they playing instrumentals out of the car, niggas is ciphering around the wheel. I don't think he got the craziest verse, bro.
So
I'm gonna
who
keep
does?
it a bean. I'm gonna go with Hov.
But there's a whole 5-year period of Big's DNA that carried Jay forward.
I was about to say that. Hov is like.
still-
Nobody inspired Big.
I ain't really
He's
hear
a
Big.
original.
I
He's a
get-
one-on-one.
I didn't
Hold
hear
up.
Big
Hold
say a
up.
lot
I
of.
get all that right,
Bryant.
but Diddy,
Hov is
I don't
Kobe
give
Bryant.
a fuck because you're a great debater,
Hov
bro.
Kobe Bryant,
My
man.
opinion is Pop.
No.
I
That's
take
a
Pac over
phenomenal
Big.
opinion.
I
Like,
take
it's like-
Pac
it's
over
hard to
Big.
argue
I'm
against
going
Pop.
with Pop.
Why?
It's
though?
hard
Why?
to argue against
Because
Pop.
Pac
I
got-
can go
Pac
with
got
who
more
the
range.
fuck.
I'm just asking.
Pac got
I'm just
range.
asking.
No
He
nigga
got
in
more
this
range.
game, bro.
Pac
Pac got more range
range.
than Biggie?
There's no nigga in this game that
He got
has
more range than
scared
Big,
the
bro.
shit out of any rapper in this game like Pac did, bro. Wasn't no niggas out here
Where his
scared to
dear
get on
mama?
records with Big.
Where's
They wanted it.
Where's Pac's Juicy?
Pac ain't got a juicy.
He ain't Biggie. He didn't have to make a
And
juicy,
Biggie's,
bro.
but Biggie's
He got
not
a Brenda's
Tupac.
got a baby.
It's
No,
like.
Pac has records.
Yo, the same nigga gave you the same nigga gave you Dear Mama that play on every single Mother's Day, gave you the craziest diss
And
record
keep your head up.
ever,
But now,
bro.
as
And
a
keep your
song,
head
as
up,
a
bro.
songwriter, I give Pac a lot of credit. But when you get into the technical throes of being an MC,
No,
he
technical
wasn't an
scale,
MC.
Thank
He
you.
was a great rapper.
I think
But then
Second
we
round,
would have
that's
to
what
throw
I'm saying.
Andre 3000 in
I
there,
say,
then, bro.
Pac was a great poet. He's a poet.
But
He's a
again,
good-
it's accomplishments and ability.
Right.
And
So,
not everybody's
so,
on
so,
both
so you
sides.
saying
Big
three
said crazier
stacks
shit
ability
than
is
Hov,
not
bro.
good?
It ain't better than Big,
Big
It's
said
great.
crazier
It's
shit than
phenomenal.
Hov.
The
He's-
lineup of it, though.
It ain't.
but it's not because street
I
culture.
never heard a crazy
the-
Biggie meta. I never heard Big say nothing that I heard in '93, a punchline, a metaphor. I never heard him say a punchline.
Don't say that.
That
Whole
no,
nights
that
I
never
perform
caught.
like Mike,
No,
anyone,
that I never
Tyson,
caught down the
Jordan,
line.
Jackson,
That's not true.
action,
Pack
pack
guns,
guns, ridiculous, and I'm
I
quick
got
to
that.
bust if my menu
I
touch.
got that when I heard that. I never heard him hide nothing. I never heard him hide nothing. I never heard him say some shit that
Me
I
and Gutter
just
had
caught
two
on.
spots. The 2 for $5 hits, the blue top.
I caught
Gotta
that
go
when I heard it.
Yo,
I
niggas
heard
getting
it
too
when I
hot.
heard
If
it.
they had twins, she probably had 2 pops.
Get it? Come on, bro.
You got it because he
First
made you
off,
get it.
fuck your bitch in the clique you
saying.
claim. West Side, when we ride,
It's
come
more-
equipped
that's
with
like,
game.
if I
You
give you a
claim to be a
metaphor-
player, but I fucked your wife.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on now.
yeah.
Come on, we gonna keep it. We
We
gonna
got-
keep it a stack.
Yeah.
Pop was
line.
phenomenal.
Listen.
If I gave you real quick.
I don't
If I
wanna cut
gave
you
you
off. We gotta
a
wrap it
metaphor,
up, though.
all right, go ahead.
Listen,
wrap it up
listen,
then, bro.
Listen,
Let's
bro.
rock
We
off
appreciate everybody for tuning in.
We can do
This is the never-ending debate.
This debate is going to go on.
Right. Rest in
Never-ending
peace to them
debate.
After
both,
we
man.
wrap the cameras up, this debate is going to continue.
It's gonna continue.
We thank y'all for tuning in. We thank Diddy for coming in,
doubt,
showing us some
no
love.
doubt, no doubt.
And we appreciate all y'all. Make sure y'all like, follow, subscribe. Definitely comment. We always love to see y'all comments. Until the next time, peace.
This episode of It Was All a Dream podcast was brought to you by Sounds Like Soma. Make sure y'all tap in. You already know what it is. This episode of It Was All a Dream podcast was brought to you by South Philly's own Sounds Like Soma in the heart of South Philly on 21st and Point Breeze. You ever need anything done, far as podcasting, just recording records, or any type of content, get at my people over here. It sounds like Soma. You already know what it is. This episode of It Was All a Dream podcast was brought to you by Ehab the Jeweler. For all your jewelry needs, watches, chains, personal, custom, get at my guy, 1700 Passyunk Avenue. You already know what he does. Get you blinged out so you can bling all day. You already know.